Hi guys, welcome to Tone Zone. Today we have a very special episode. We're actually comparing 4 different KLON pedals. We have 2 original Centaurs and 2 KTRs. And we have a very special guest to talk to us about it because he knows everything there is to know about this stuff. So please say hi to Jürgen from Cotton Musical Supply, who was the original distributor for these pedals. So hi Jürgen.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today. Where do we begin? I guess we should start with how did your journey start with KLON?
It started in January 1996 when I received a fax from Bill Finnegan asking me, he heard about my company through Lindy, Fralin and others, and he was asking if I would be interested into selling his product into Germany. So the first pedal, he arranged to send me the first pedal with a shipment of Lindy Fralin pickups, which I received likely in February 1996. And so we discussed, the conditions and everything. And by April, we had a deal, and I got the first batch of Centaur pedals.
So you were the first in Europe to get them?
Likely, I think so.
Yeah, because he started in '94, right?
He started in '94, and so he built the pedals by himself in his, in his garage or or his home. So they're still handmade, and I think until even 2009, when he stopped the production of the original Centaur pedals, they were still handmade by him.
Yeah, only by himself. Yeah, that's right. I do know to develop the pedals, he had some help from some engineering friends. But the building was all him. So we're talking about Bill Finnegan for those of you who might not know. And if you don't, this might not be the video for you. But Bill Finnegan, who is the mastermind behind these pedals. And he built all of them, all of the original ones, by hand himself. Which I think of the originals, there were about 8,000 units made in total. That's what I read.
That's what I read or I heard too.
And maybe you can show us the very first one that you brought.
The very first one is likely this one here, which I received in likely April 1994.
Yeah. So this is like the most classic look there is for the Centaur.
Yeah.
The gold with the Centaur picture on it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Long tail. It's all the early details of what's make them very sought after.
Yeah,
this version.
They're now trading on eBay and stuff for anywhere between $6,000 and $8,000, which is just absolutely nuts. But in a minute we're gonna hear what they sound like, and then you guys can decide if you think it's worth it or not. Right. So that was the first. That was the first one. Let's take a look at the second pedal and what the differences might be.
The second pedal is actually, it's a silver one.
Right.
And the story behind this is a custom ordered unit I got from Bill. The story is that actually the first 300 or 350 units had a slightly different frequency response. It's not much. We tried to work it out, but I think as we did in the pre testings, it's likely very hard. But there's a slight difference. Bill changed the design, circuit design in about early 1969. So the first one he sent me through Lindy 1996. So the first one Bill sent me was the original frequency response, and the gold one, the later ones in April, which came in April, had already the new frequency response. Right. I remember that because I kept most of the correspondence from that time, actually, since we were doing faxing back and forth, since there was no internet. So this just started in about 1990, late 1997, 1998. And so somehow I kept all the correspondence in a folder, and I just recently discovered it that I still had the original fax from 1996,
Amazing.
where he's you know, I have it here. It's like where he's actually sending me, you know, the fax asking about the distribution, and so yeah, and he asked me actually in one of those faxes how I do like the new version of the Centaur, and I said.
So that's the silver one.
No. Yeah, the gold one. And
okay.
and I said I sold the one you sent me in January, so I didn't have any unit to compare it with. So I said this one is just sounding fantastic. So I don't know. It's just perfect, you know. And so the first one I sold to Ulis Music in Leverkusen, and likely one of the sales guys played that a lot, and I think it must be either in 1996 or I think it was 1997, mid of 1997, where I got a call from him, and he said, did they change, you know, the sound of the pedal, because somehow I can't get my neck pickup, you know, Strat combination with my amp anymore. It's different a little bit. So I said, I don't know. I have to ask Bill. So I called Bill, and he said, yeah, there's a very slight change of that. So I thought, oh, maybe it might be a good idea if somebody noticed this, you know, from aside them. So there must be something about it, and. So I asked Bill if he would be kind enough to build me a pedal with the original frequency response, like the first 300 or 350 there. So, and he agreed on that, and then I said, okay, since already at that time he was doing the gold ones and the silver ones side by side.
Right.
So I said, okay, to take them apart, make me a silver one with the original frequency response.
Right.
And that's this pedal here. So it's like the first 300, but with a slightly less. He called it less bassy or less warmer sound.
Right.
It's very subtle. It's not really a big change, but it's hard to work it out. Here with it's not easy.
Yeah,
but it's I think it's there if you really listen very closely. But
yeah, we're gonna do that in a minute. But that's already very interesting, because I think a lot of people think that they're all just exactly the same because they were all the KLON Centaur, even though they look different. But now, as we're finding out, they were also sounding just a little bit different because they were all handmade. And he'd made like minute changes to them throughout the years a little bit.
Yeah,
really.
I think the sound-wise they're pretty much the same. I mean, there you have tolerances on the pedal. Mainly, it's on the knobs. And there's a video on the internet where Bill shows. We're gonna get that later on about the KTR, since. In 2021, they came the new batch out with the new diodes. Bill had germanium diodes he used from 1994 to, I guess, late 2019 or 20 or something like that. And then he ran out of those diodes, and then he had to find replacements. And it took him quite long to find the ones that he liked.
Yeah, that sounded right.
Yeah, and the thing is, and he tried to show in the video that actually there's no difference between the new and the old diodes, and he also explains that in order to compare the pedals, you can't simply go and put all pedals in the same, you know, like noon,
right.
and then it will sound the same. No, that's not how it works, you know, because one pedal might be a little bit louder, so you need to turn the volume a little bit down, or the other one, the treble pot, is a little bit more on the trebly side, so you have to turn down the treble a little bit to make them sound the same.
Exactly. And so that's also something, if you're watching the video when we're playing, well, I'll be playing later on, and you see that the settings are not exactly the same, that's because we actually try to get the sound as close as possible, so it's fair for each pedal, I guess, in a sense. So, but let's talk about the KTR a little bit, for those who don't know. So, when he quit building the original KLON Centaurs because it was just getting too much for him, and he wasn't actually making that much money on it because it was so intensive and took so many hours for him to build, he introduced a few years later, he introduced the KTRs, which were built to be easier to mass produce. So they were not made by himself anymore.
No,
they were made in a factory.
They are made in a subcontractor.
Right, so that's what the KTR is all about. But even the KTRs are now starting to go up in price. It's not as crazy as the originals, far from it, but they're also going up. So, and I can see why, because they also sound amazing, you know. And so you brought two of those as well. So we have one with the older diodes that we talked about, and one with the new diodes.
Yeah.
And another question I have for you, because I read online that Finnegan was thinking about building new KLON Centaurs, but like the old days. Did you hear anything about that or his plans? Is he already doing it, or?
The only thing I saw that he was building some what he calls reissues with the original style casing, which he donated he put them on eBay, and the funds were going to as donations for a friend who needed help.
Who needed the cash.
So
I saw that.
That's the only units, and he did that in the past a couple of times, you know. But he always donated the money he got from those auctions to somebody. So, and I don't think that he will start to production-wise to go back to the original old design, which likely doesn't make sense at all, since sound-wise it's very hard to tell them apart, especially if you are in a live situation. I mean, if we are sitting here, you know, and then we start cutting hair, and maybe the old one is a little bit smoother, a little bit there, you know. It could be, of course, it's aging parts and, you know, all this kind of stuff. But in reality, if you're playing in a band and I mean, that's what I experience. Once you start playing it, you know, it still feels, and that's the main thing. The feel and the sound you're getting. And after, you know, 30 seconds, you forget that it's an old or new one. You know, it's just a great pedal, and if the main feel and sound is right, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I also think that there's not a lot of people who would put an original KLON on their pedal board anymore, because they're so damn expensive now. Yeah. You know, and it also, I mean, it was always a bit of an awkward pedal because it's so big, you know. But I mean, the sound is legendary, of course. It has been cloned a million gazillion times by all kinds of companies, but of course the original ones are now just a major collector's item. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I think so. It's most players can afford it, and maybe if you're a superstar, you know, and then you can afford one. And
Bonamassa would put it on his board, I guess.
Yeah.
So Jürgen, thank you for all of your knowledge. I think that's enough talking now. We should check them out and see what they sound like and see if we can hear any differences. And of course, the people watching at home. So let's take a look. Right, so now I'm going to run you through each of these pedals one by one. We're going to start off with everything on the same settings. After that I might change it up a little bit, but for now they're all at the same level and same amount of gain. And we're going to start off with the Silver Centaur, which is the completely original circuitry, so no changes there. Let's see what it sounds like. First of all, here's the clean sound. And here comes the KLON. Right, that sounds pretty good. What a surprise. Let's go into the second one, which is the gold one, which had the updated frequency response. So to my ear, this one sounds just a little bit smoother, a bit creamier, a bit warmer, but I don't know what you guys think, so let us know in the comments below. Let's move on to the first of the KTRs. So this is the one with the older diodes in it. Let's see what it sounds like. Right, sounds like a KLON to me. So we have one more to check out, which is the latest KTR with the newer diodes. Right, so now I'm just going to play around a little bit. For this I'm going back into the gold Centaur. First of all, I think I'm just going to crank up the gain a little bit, see what that sounds like. So actually, let's crank it all the way up, right? Why not? Adjust the output a little bit. Let's see. Yes, I'll have two, please. What else? I guess to close out the sound part of this video, I'm gonna do something that no one almost ever has a chance to do. I'm gonna stack two clones on top of each other because, again, why not? We're here. Let's do it. So I'm gonna stack the two original KLONs together now. Here's one. And here's the second one added to it. Right, so that was our special episode on the KLONS Centaur. I wanted to thank Jürgen so much for being here with us and bringing all of these amazing pedals. It's not often that you get 4 pedals of this caliber together in one chain. So thank you very much, Jürgen. As always, if you enjoy our content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we hope to see you soon at Tone Zone.